Welcome to this podcast. My name is Dr. Tom Madayag, and our topic for today is something new immigrants must face, and that is buying their first car here in the United States. This is often a very challenging process because, first, there is the financial consideration. Most new immigrants will not be able to afford to pay the car in full with cash. Financing is thus the only viable option. And to obtain a loan, one must have a good credit score and history, something new immigrants may not have. So before embarking on the mechanics of purchasing a car, I would like to suggest some tips that might be helpful to consider when buying your first car. First is to be realistic about the car you're going to purchase by determining the amount that is reasonable based on your income. Humble yourself. Financial advisors recommend that you spend less than 10 to 20% of your take-home pay on your monthly car payment. If you have more than that, it might impose severe difficulties as far as finances are concerned. So again, I ask you to humble yourself by choosing a car based on its cost, not based on what impressions it brings to others. Now, based on experiences shared by a few colleagues, there are two viable options open to the newly arrived immigrant for purchasing a car. They are financing through a credit union, an example is Advantial, and the other is with International Auto Source. Just one caveat, and that is that Advantial may or may not be available based on your circumstance, but will be used here as an example of a financing via a lending institution. A colleague of mine recently signed up with Auto Source. The car is a 2022 Jeep Compass Sport FWD. This is for a 72-month car loan with a zero down payment. The monthly payment is $656 with an 8.69% interest. Had she placed a down payment of $2,600, however, the monthly payment would be $553 with a 0.469 interest rate. Because she did not have any funds to put up a down payment, she therefore availed of the one without a down payment. Now, another colleague of mine also recently bought her 2022 Nissan Kicks using Advantial as the financial institution for her loan. She was approved for a loan up to $30,000. The car she selected was priced at $29,789. Advantial required her to put a $3,200 down payment, leaving her with a monthly payment of $487 per month for 66 months. As you can see, with these two examples, there are pros and cons for these options. Here is a testament from a colleague who chose Auto Source over Advantial.
With Auto Source, there are only limited cars they're offering. They're not really offering everything. So whatever they can offer, you just have to choose from it. And the one that I found would be convenient, would be cheaper, and would be beneficial for me is the Jeep Sports FWD 2022.
All right. If you were giving advice to a new immigrant, somebody who just comes in, what would you advise them to do as far as car selection is concerned?
For car selections, I think I have three factors to consider. Number one is who will gonna be using it. So in my case, it wouldn't just be me. It would be used for a family, for a family of three. So that's a consideration in choosing a car. Second is, of course, the price. That's also like a big deal. Is it less than, or is it like around 20 to 30% of your net income? Or
That's
not even.
that's an excellent point. You always have to consider how much you can afford. Okay, great.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. So that was my second. And the last one is, would it make you happy having that car? Like, that's still really a factor, you know. You really have to still consider that. And I'm just right now I'm thinking that I'm really grateful with AutoSource. I mean, this is not, I think this is not a, what they call it, a paid
Advertisement. We
yes,
do
it
not
isn't.
work for AutoSource. Yeah.
We're not,
Okay.
yeah, we don't work for AutoSource, but I really commend it. I really commend the company, and specifically that person, Matteo, that I talked to, that I was talking to. Like, just imagine, like in 30 minutes you'll have your car rental, and not because they want you to be with them, but because they made you feel like, hold on, you've been there for like a week and you're like walking. Really? Are you sure of that? Let's not talk about business yet. Let's help you first. And then, like, okay, have your car. Just give me your social and stuff.
Great.
And that's it.
Well, thank you very much. What I wanted to do to conclude this particular interview is to ask you to have a word of advice to people who are watching this, and maybe they can learn from it in buying a car. So,
Oh yeah. So in there are people, by the way. I think let's just start it this way. In the Philippines, you can actually live without a car because our transportation system is is really good in terms of quantity of the transportation system. We have train, we have jeepneys, we have tricycles, we have the bicycles, so everything we have.
you have
So
the
it
Kalesa.
depends. Yes, yes, that's right, right. So like in our transportation system is really good, which made the traffic really so screwed up because there's a lot of cars. So that's really okay in the Philippines not to have a car. So you might have that thinking that I don't need a car. I can work on it, Because I think that was one of my way of thinking. Like I'm just gonna look for a place that's I
Close
can
to work.
walk, yes, and stop so that I won't have to pay for the car, so that I can save. But once you'll be here in that pyramid of the needs of Maslow's hierarchy, it's actually a physiological need. It is actually a physiological needs. And you might not believe in me right now, but once you'll be here, you will gonna say, oh yeah. Because the country isn't like if you wanna go one place to another place, you can't just walk. I mean you really have because it's far. That's why it's United States. It's really like big and like the places are far and from each other and stuff. So you really need a car. It's not just a want, it's a need. It's not just a simple need, but it's a physiological need. So therefore, you should really be thinking and you should really be choosing a car.
So,
And
what is your
choosing a car, yeah, like whatever. But in terms of in going back to my advice, just consider first, of course, who will use it. Are you planning to have a family or stuff like that, or will you just be all alone? Because that would be really a big factor. And then of course your money, like your income. And lastly is personalize it, enjoy it, have fun with it. Because if you will not enjoy it and you're paying for something that you're not enjoying, then you have a screwed life. So, just
Enjoy it
enjoy.
with humility, though, because I know that a lot of people think that probably their first car ought to be a Cadillac or a Mercedes or a Tesla. But at times you just need to humble yourself and think about
Exactly.
the purpose of the automobile is to transport you from point A to point B. Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
That is that is really correct. Again, to be honest with you, when I was still in college, I have this picture, a big, big picture, like to have my own car, like the one that I'm like really paying for, and it's a black sedan Honda Civic, and not just like Tesla and stuff like that. But when you'll be here, of course, like be in reality. Like you have this tendency. I actually agree with you, Doc. Like there's really this tendency, like, oh, I'm earning this money already. Like I can buy this already. I can do this. I can, without realizing the long term effect of it. So humble yourself.